Hi, this is Laura. Welcome back. We are doing a 4-part series. So this is the second part of our 4-part. If you missed episode 1, below in the show notes is the link to go click back. Make sure you listen to that one first, and then it links to this one. In this interview with Chris, I'm going to be talking about the mistakes and misperceptions about trust. And I can just give you a little clue. A lot of lawyers say we're not a probate state. It's completely a lie. Everywhere in the world is a probate country and a probate state. Next thing we're going to talk about, how do you create a legacy without having trust fund kids? And the last thing we want to talk about is the 3 essential things necessary for you to build the right kind of a legacy that's going to last for generations, not just for 2.3, which is the statistic. So let's go listen into Chris and I in this interview on these points.
Let's talk a little bit about, just because you brought it up, trust.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people, and I'm seeing this more and more now than I've ever seen it. You know, there's a lot of people out there peddling trust. And I know you have a trust company, so you can speak with a lot of experience on this. But people literally think a trust is a magic thing that like you go out and you buy a trust and everything's done. But it's more about what language is in the trust, making sure that you have the proper trust structure for your needs and goals, which most people don't even know their needs and goals before they buy the trust. They're just sold this bill of goods, I guess you would say. And I know you're seeing this, but let's talk just a little bit about the language, because I spent months creating my trust structure, but it didn't take months creating the trust structure. That took about 10 minutes on a piece of paper. What took all the time is figuring out how I want my wealth that I have built during my lifetime to pass on to my children and my spouse, but then not just how it passes to them, how it passes to then their kids and then their kids and then their kids, and how all of them, you know, this was my goal. I wanted to make sure that every kid ever born into my name, my family, would remember Grandpa Chris. And how I do that is my trust is the language in there, makes it so that every kid on their birthday gets a check from Grandpa Chris. And there's no better way to make sure that everybody remembers your name with every year they get a check from Grandpa, a grandpa that they never met. But the language is so much more important than just that check. It's how they can't squander the wealth in the second generation or third generation. So can you speak a little bit about how you, or just how you've helped clients structure trust and the mistakes that are being made out there? Because all you ever hear anymore is trust structures so that people pay no taxes. And I went down that rabbit hole and I had to unwind a trust structure, which cost me in excess of hundreds of thousands of dollars unwinding it because I was given bad advice. Are you seeing those same things?
Football is my favorite sport. My son played D1 football, but now like his Stafford and his wife are peddling. I mean, let's be honest, they're paid spokespeople. So again, people have no clue what TV is. It's entertainment. When I was Dr. Phil's money expert, and I'm just going to backpedal because I call it the 99-cent store. There's so many trusts and wills that are from the 99-cent store, meaning $99, $199, absolutely no help, absolutely no advice. So people just click some buttons. It's so, I'd say unethical, quite frankly, because they're just peddling. And it started, let's go all the way back, Chris, Susie Orman, right? The $35 will, she did it out on PBS and sold, hundreds of millions of them, which they're pieces of crap. I've ordered one myself. They come in this little flimsy box, absolutely no clue what to do. And a will, just so you all know, I always call the will your stuff. Who's going to get your stuff, right? Who's going to get my magic wand? I got a magic wand last year because everybody thinks I have one. So I thought I should get one. It's really
it's just funny. That's funny because it's literally right next to you.
To get it because everyone's like, I have a magic wand. It's like, oh, actually I do now. It's funny, but it's the stuff. So my kids are going to fight over that. How much they'll get another one. The trust is how you avoid probate. What drives me crazy is those paid people, and they're great people, but they're just paid actors and actresses to tell you to go buy something, and without any education, hook, line, and sinker, people like, go buy this $199 trust. Well, you can't get anything done. You don't even get the right documents. A trust binder is like typically this big. It's a big binder with a lot of tabs done right, with everything that you need from powers of attorney, health, and financial. It has all of your insurances completely laid out, has a complete plan. And as far as the language of it, I always say there's a power of 5 in what should be a legacy and a trust setup, right? So usually I'm their facilitator, advocate. I don't really call myself a coach anymore. A little bit of mentor, but I really help facilitate their family's life down the road. There has to be an estate lawyer. in the state that signs it, and you need to move it as fast as you move. So I just had a couple that moved from California to Tennessee 5 weeks later. The gentleman, my male client, and actually, these guys. I don't know if you knew them, but actually, I'm pretty sure you did because they were big event people. Anyway, bill passed. Michelle's left alone. And the trust is in California, but their new residency is in Tennessee. She is living through a horrible experience. Again, more lessons to everybody listening. Get it done and get it done quick. And if you move states and residence, it has to go with you because you're going to probate where your trust is. So here she's back in California, living through unbelievable probate hell. But a trust done really well keeps you out of probate. So again, it's whoever's going to help navigate and educate, which would be the me on the team. There's an estate lawyer. There's a you for insurance. There is a highly strategic tax strategist, not a light CPA, not somebody who knows a little on the side, truly knows the basis of that. Your accountant, your corporate compliance and corporate structure, because if your corporations and your corporate compliance aren't accurate into the trust, that could kick you into a whole nother legal battle in a probate court. The goal of a trust, in my opinion, is to get in and out of court upon someone's death as fast as you can, retain all assets, retain bank accounts, retain total activity. So small things that I do is, I start very early, 18, starting to put my kids just as signers, not necessarily even a shareholder, but all bank accounts have joint signatures. So if anything happens to me, the accounts don't freeze. Everyone keeps moving as another legal adult. So I do a lot of protective measures. And how did I learn them all? The amount of clients that have passed on and the amount of families I've had to help live through this, it's going to happen to you. And here's what I'd say to all of you. You have a plan. You're either going to sit with Chris and I or a team and design a plan to be done right. But this was a 3-day workshop we just put on, which is how do you do it right with those 5 people on a team? It's not just an estate lawyer. It can't be. It's not enough people. And especially in the tax side, if you want to walk out of there not getting scathed in tax. And right now you can pass on over 11 million to each heir on tax done right through ILETs. So again, so now let's move to the trust. So there's a team. There's the intention of why you want to do it. A will and a trust are very different. There should be a pour-over will, which is if you forgot anything, it's going with it anyway. There's all these sections that you build up into the trust. When you get to the conversation you were having is how do you make sure people behave? It is through, I love your idea of a birthday check. That's a great one. I might have to borrow that. But there's also what we put in is non-depletion. So non-depletion is a section. It's not all of it because I do want to have them have some nice distributions upon my passing. But the core of it is to borrow against, treat it like a bank. You can think about how the Rockefellers did it. You treat it like a bank. So they have to learn a business plan. They can borrow against it. They have to return against it. I haven't put in place the board, but there will be a board. Part of them are named, part of them not named quite yet. But they are named if it happened, if I had an accident. And so the board then oversees. So it's like having a trustee, but mine's 3 people that they have to get approval, whether they can take anything more than 6 figures for sure, and borrow to go buy a business, buy something. If they're not, let's talk about the basics. If they're not in good standing as a citizen, they're doing drugs, alcohol, they're just doing abusive things, treating people like crap, not running businesses accurately. So there's just a lot of behavior that I built into mine if they have to behave. If they get divorced, but the spouse will be taken care of in the lifestyle that they got accustomed, and that's it. They can't touch it. There's no alimony. There's no lifelong child support. And then for the most part, a lot of it will do what's called generational skipping and skip to the grandkids to avoid the mess and the fights. It stays in the family. It stays in the Langemeier legacy. The other thing that I put away is I have huge tubs of all my work. I have a game. I got 6 New York Times. I've got over 50 something real books, really. A lot of, really cool stuff from Dr. Phil and The Secret, Bob. Just cool stuff. So I have kind of a legacy war chest, and I put together, I think, a whole bunch of them. They're all over my garage. And that's for the grandkids. And then to pass it on to the great grandkids, because what I want is for them to remember Grandma Loral. Actually, they're going to call me Glam Glam. They've already said that's going to be my name because I love bling. And they're all going to get this, and they're all going to know where their family came from. So, a lot of that too is just time. I don't have them with me back here, but teaching kids early to journal, to do goal setting. I started goal setting with my kids at 3. They had little tiny companies. Little, kid companies at 4 and 5 years old, whether it's a smoothie or slime or a little jewelry thing or whatever it is, but they learn to make their own money. Mom was never the bank. They know when they can come do loans. They know that we can have a conversation. We know we can partner. So it's growing them up, which was a huge part of the Make Your Kids Millionaires of how do you bring your kids into this and who do you want to be? And to your point, Chris, I think you got to go all the way back to most people don't even know what they want this month, much less a year, much less a lifetime. and much less a legacy. So it's some mindfulness around what do you want? What I love about the community I put together is this is a place for those, 300 people in the room. This is hundreds of families talking about these conversations. So I think this is a conversation where you would tee this up. Now talk at your tables. There's 8 to 10 people at your table. What do you want? So it provides a space for people to have conversations that aren't just opinions of your neighbors and your relatives. These are people getting trained into the work of becoming a millionaire, or they're already a multimillionaire. I have a lot of people already multimillionaires. They come because I have the best tax team. I think I have the best tax teams in the country. They're so good. I mean, their taxes are so low. So a lot of our high net worth people come just for the tax team. They don't really care about anything else, but then they do get interested in the legacy. They're like, I haven't given enough attention to that with my estate lawyer. So we don't necessarily replace teammates when people come in, but we get them to learn to behave together better on behalf of the family. And a lot of teammates, as you know, Chris, I mean, our financial services industry is so segregated. When I just said that power of 5 people, getting those 5 to get on a call for you, good luck. I mean, any of you watching, good luck trying to get those people to come together. And then do you know enough to facilitate a conversation with those experts? And I'm going to say, no, that's where I exist. I exist in a lot of those family conversations, tax conversations, just moving the family along. I'm not giving advice necessarily. I'm just being very mindful about the things they need to be thinking about that no one's ever told them to think about.
That is a lot of it right there. Just getting people to talk about things that they've never thought about before.
And where's the forum to talk about them? I mean, I don't care what school you go to, even if you looked at entrepreneurial curriculums, which I'm sure you have, because I know you and I are similar. The entrepreneurial curriculums are nothing more than a business administration professor who just put on an entrepreneurial hat and pulled off some books on the shelf. I've asked to be an adjunct professor at so many entrepreneurial universities and bring all my books and give my books for free to the students. Guess why I've been told no 100% of the time? I've been a guest speaker. That's different than getting a class to be an adjunct professor to really teach some badass entrepreneurial, juice. And so why don't somebody like me come? They wouldn't let you come either, probably, because we are not tenured professors. So the professors are threatened by our books, the magnitude we come with. They don't realize our agenda. I'm not going to be a university professor. I just want to help this next batch of entrepreneurial kids get it right. And if you've never had a business, how can you teach entrepreneurialism? There's just so much wrong with, a lot of things. So anyway, the forum of having conversations in a safe, accurate place. And I'm going to say accurate because there's so much crap on the internet. So hope you enjoyed that first of 4 parts with Chris and I. We're going to keep digging into legacy, wealth building, a wealth warrior, how that actually works. Before we continue on to the second part, I want you to subscribe to our channel. We're here 5 days a week. If you have any questions, ask a question, make a request, go to askloral.com, and we're there 24/7. We'd love to help you. The last thing I want to do before we wrap up this episode 1 of a 4-part is give you 2 tickets to my Millionaire Intensive. Once a month, we do an event that's all day long, 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock Pacific, where you learn about how to be a millionaire, how to market, how to get a funnel, and then how to do a marketplace. How do you actually sell online and make some money? So we're here 5 days a week. Make sure you subscribe, hook up our channel. Next, we're going to listen to episode 3.